Alright, YouTube, it's time for a Stay of the Shack. It has been quite some time. I've got a lot of excuses. Some of them are plausible. Let's get started. So, where have I been? Well, the whole thing has happened across the world, so thankfully I've retained my position, and I have been busier than ever because where I work, not having people around means I can do a lot of special projects and get stuff done. So I've been doing floors and refinishing rooms and all kinds of stuff, moving furniture, redecorating, all that kind of stuff that normally wouldn't happen because of a weekly schedule. So I've got that going for me. I've taken on or been given the full-time position of taking care of the yard work because the previous guy that was doing it quit, so it fell on me. So now I do that all day, 1 day a week, which is not fun. 3 acres of grass in about 100 degree is not fun. Right now it's almost 80 degrees and 70% humidity. So, video wise, I've been busy and I just really haven't had the drive to do any videos lately. I've done a couple just special cases, but I need to get back into it. It's just I've been struggling with it. I'm trying to get back into it, so bear with me. Let's get down to the meat of the video. What's new? What's going on? So, start with Honda's still in here. I actually do prepare to film a video. I'm going to do an oil change, show you how to change the oil on the 420. Something has had the misfortune of dying under this floor, and it is just absolutely horrible smelling in here right now. Feel sorry for the critter that died, but man, he could have chose a better place to go. There's a clue to some of the parts that I have for a piece of equipment I just recently purchased, which will be fun to play with. White golf cart's still here. I don't know if I showed it or not, but I made a custom flatbed for the back of it to make it more useful. Some wheels for another purchase I bought. Some assorted batteries from stuff. You have missed out on some stuff just because I haven't filmed anything. This is my custom flatbed I made. It's actually sturdy. It can hold me sitting on it. I know the strips are a little off, but I did those so I could bungee strap stuff down. Plus, that's the material I had. So, let's walk outside. I'll show you some of the other equipment I've gotten. For one, there's a big difference out here. All this fence and playground's gone. You see one four-wheeler and 2 more four-wheelers. I just got those. Also got this to help me with the lawn care. It does make it nice. I picked up this lawnmower. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, because it supposedly ran. I tried to get it to run. It would backfire like crazy. Like, it wouldn't even start. It would just only backfire. That's the only thing it did, out the exhaust. Put another carburetor on it. Tried starting it. Doesn't want to start. Like, the key switch is bad now. So, let's get started on the dismal story of these four-wheelers. So, it's part of the reason why I've been in such a bad mood not wanting to film anything. So this is a 2006, if I remember right, Brute Force 650. It, and another one back there, there's a green 750 back there, were for sale as a pair on Facebook Marketplace. Now, I live in New Orleans, and these were in Baton Rouge, so it's about, 1.5 hour drive to Baton Rouge. Some listing said, haven't started in a while, need batteries, need fuel pumps. I'm like, oh, okay. Now I'm hearing fuel pumps, I'm thinking they must be fuel injected, so already a win there. And the picture I had was only from the front because they were both in a storage unit. So, messaged the guy, I'm interested, can I come look at them? He's like, yeah, I've got the title for one of them too. The title for this one. Alright, I'm gonna come out there, grab the cash, and start on my way. He's like, oh, they're not in Baton Rouge, they're in Lafayette. I was like, oh. So, now instead of a 1.5 hour drive, we got about a 3-hour drive. All the way that's basically to almost the Texas border of Louisiana from where I am in New Orleans. So, pretty long way. So, you know, suck it up, drive out there. It's about 11 o'clock at night when I get there, maybe even 12. So it's dark. I look them over. I check the oil, you know, just pull the dipstick out, shine it on a flashlight. It looked fine, you know, they were a little dark. Green one pulled over, this one the pull rope stuck. So loaded them up on the trailer. Of course, all the tires were flat. You know, I didn't think much of it. Got them back, filled the tires up best I could, rolled them back here, started meddling with them. Took them apart, found out they're not fuel injected, they're carbureted, which, you know, isn't too bad, but this just, they're expensive, and it's 2 carburetors on these. So, started meddling with this one first, just because I think it looked nicer, like the plastics and everything. I didn't wash them, I just, like, started on them. So, I got it where it started up and ran, and guess what? Bottom end is totally destroyed on this thing. Double rod knock, really bad. Like idling, it sounds like it's going to throw a rod. So I was like, lovely. Messaged the guy, like, you know it had a rod knock? No, man, I didn't know anything. Of course you didn't. You just sold me some junk four-wheelers for money I would have paid for one that was half decent. But I got 2 for the price of what would have been 1, so not too bad. Another problem is the diff on this one is completely destroyed. The brakes don't work. It's missing its final drive from the front to the diff. So it means they ran it for a while without the front diff. Other than that, this one's pretty complete. Whew. Excuse me. So that's the story on this one. This is a 650. It needs the engine rebuilt. And after I ran it for a while, of course, the metal was showing. It's just they sat long enough, all the little metal flakes floated to the bottom of the oil pan. So let's move back this way. And timeline-wise, this other four-wheeler I got before these two, I just got these as a bonus because it's like, that's a great deal. The lawnmower collection's growing again, too. I got to fix all of them. So this is the first one I picked up. It does run. It needed a transmission. I have halfway installed the transmission. So this is a 2006, 2008, I think, Can-Am Outlander 800 XT. So the extended length one, 2 up. I will be removing that seat. Engine did run fine. The dude showed me, like, when I went to pick it up. Now, granted, this before I bought these ones. And, you know, I was all excited about it. I got a really good deal on it. I traded another piece of equipment I had for it. So I got a really good deal for it. And it just needed a transmission. So, this is the newer transmission I bought. Sitting right here. Would you believe that this little thing right here cost me $1,200? More than I have paid for most of the four-wheelers I've ever owned. $1,200 for that. Believe me, I was upset when I saw that, but it was a small price to pay. It was like, you know, a quarter of what this thing is worth running, so. And I got it for less than that, so it was worth the investment. It's just a matter of me to button everything up. I'm waiting on some parts. I need, if you can see it, that nut right there I need to get. And then back here is missing a few parts. You see stuff hanging. There's supposed to be a bracket up in here I've already ordered. It's on the way. Brakes work. All the electrics work. You know, you put power to it, it just starts right up. It's fuel injected. It sounds mean. But that's all there is on this one. I probably will paint this before I put it in the service. I don't know. I may keep it the way it is. But I'm looking forward to this one. So, this is the second of the 2 brute forces I bought. It was muddier when I first picked it up, so I was thinking, oh, you know, this one's been used recently, because even the registration on it doesn't end until 2021. So I was like, oh, they must have just used this one. It's not bad. Which, looking at it, you know, it looks good. It's a 750, you know. Biggest brute force they made at the time. So I was like, yeah, that's a pretty good looking four-wheeler. Well, I started looking at it closer, and no front axles. They're just broke off, or who knows what. Differential's clapped. It's missing the final drive like the other one. The radiator is totally packed of mud. So I was like, oh, these are not looking good signs. But, you know, 12 o'clock at night in the middle of nowhere, Lafayette, I wasn't looking for those things. Once again, the oil looked fine on this one when I picked it up, but I was just checking it in the dark and it had been sitting. Get it home, had to meddle with it more. The starter was bad on this one, so knowing that the engine was clapped on that one, I took the starter off of that one, put it on this one. Got this one to start, spun bearing, just squeeze, 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 squeeze. So the engine on this one is clapped. So I have two engines to rebuild. I just spent a considerable amount of money on a transmission for that. And then I came along one more thing. So you may have seen the video I posted of the Crown Vic after it got totaled by some genius drunk driver or whoever ran into it at night. So State Farm did give me considerably more money than I ever had into it, so I am very thankful for that. And I will show you what I did with that money, or most of it. I did invest some of it, because I'd like to have more money, you know, later in life. Because I know one thing, I won't be working that long. Alright, so I did do an intro video to this car. I think I may have done 2 videos so far, I don't remember. But this is what I got to replace my Crown Vic. I've been wanting an old car for a while. Ever since my brother had bought and sold the Cougar, I wanted to get something for myself. So this is what I got. This is a 1963 American Motors Classic. And other than the big dent in the front here, it's pretty good. Like, there's that dent there I'm going to try and knock out. And there's this little bit of rust right here. That's it for the whole car. We'll go around, do a walk around. Whole car, clean, no dents. Still kind of shiny even. The interior isn't even that bad. The headliner's still in. The rear seat's still in good shape. The front seat, the dry rot got to it. It's kind of a shame. Somebody tried breaking into the hood with a screwdriver when it was at the place I got it from. So, even the interior looks nice still. So, of course it's going to start raining on me. So, the story with this car. You know, I've been looking on Craigslist for a while for an older car, just because I like them. And I saw this one had been on there for a long time, or Facebook Marketplace even. They wanted $3,700 for it, and it was at the Pull Apart in Baton Rouge. I was like, it's worth a look. I went and looked on their website, and they had it marked for $1,000. I was like, oh, so they updated. They're trying to get rid of it. So I go out there to Baton Rouge, and it is sitting on the ground. All 4 tires are flat. It's actually missing the tires off the front. Then the brake drum off, you know, it was just pretty pitiful looking. But, you know, I borrowed a battery from the front, put power to it, jumped the solenoid, engine spins over nice. It's got a manual transmission in it, 3-speed on the column, manual steering, no power brakes, so looking pretty good for a get-together project. So I'm looking into it a little further, decide I want it. There's a couple other people, you know, it's been there since, whatever, October last year, 2019, and all of a sudden everybody's interested in, oh man, this is a nice car, I think I want this. You know, they're all trying to outbid me on it. It's like, bro. And the lady at the front's like, no, he called me at 8 o'clock, said he was coming to get this car. Y'all can just go, y'all been here all year, the thing's been there, no one's batting an eye. Y'all move on. I was like, all right. So, look at it more. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll take it. Go down the street, rent a U-Haul trailer to bring it home. Go to lift it up with the forklift to put a wheel under it so it'll roll, and the wheels all drop down. There's no springs. So, from what I understand from one of the guys at the yard, this was an old man's car. He stopped driving in 81. That's the last date on the brake tag here. So, 1981 Missouri. So, what I understand is he stopped driving it. Sometime within the last couple years, the grandson picked it up, brought it down here, it was trying to get it running. And you know, there's some stuff like the wheels are painted and whatchamacallit, the engine's got all kinds of stupid colors and writing all over it. So they did try and get it running. They may have had it running, maybe why I got it running so easily. So they did all of this foolishness under here. I put new wires, plugs, and breaker in there. But other than that, all of this is the way it was. And we'll let you see. The frame down there is almost touching the asphalt. So that gives you an example of how low this thing was. It was touching the frame all the way. So I went to pick it up and I literally had to have them put it on the trailer and just back out from under it because it was so low, it was sitting on the frame. Got it here, put a block of 4x4 under every spring perch, about a 8-inch piece under every spring perch to get it off the ground so it's rollable. And then, you know, I went through the process of getting it running, put new breaker in it, and cleaned the carb as best I could on the car. And I got it where it runs and drives now, and it moves under its own power. The thing it doesn't have yet is brakes, which I might work on today if the rain holds out. But things I know it needs. I had done this in a video. I've had a couple people actually respond to me about this. But I need rear springs still. I have springs in there, but they're out of a late model Mustang from the junkyard, so they're not tall enough. I have springs coming from the front from eBay that are actually from another car just like this. I just tried today. I have a hub on the way as well. The thing I kept having a problem with is these hubs back here kept wanting to spin. So these aren't like normal, this is a rear-wheel drive car, so these aren't like normal hubs. This is the axle here in the middle, so it's a floating axle. And the hub is splined to it, and then the bolt holds it too. Well, for one, it didn't have a washer in there, and so you would go to drive backward, it wouldn't be a problem. You go to drive forward, and it would loosen the nut on itself. For one, it didn't have a cotter in there too. And it would loosen the nut, and the wheel would just sit there and the axle would spin. So I really torqued it good. Got a cotter key in there, got a washer in there now. That doesn't fix it, JB Weld will. This side didn't really give me any trouble. But yeah. Next big project will be brakes after I get suspension on it, because I think putting suspension on this thing is going to raise it up probably a good 6 inches, because the pictures I've seen off of eBay of other cars, they were stripping parts off. So you see how this wheel is kind of set up in there. I mean, it looks good this low, but here in New Orleans it would not last very long. I think one drive and I'd have the oil pan on the ground. But I'm thinking with it like this, I'm thinking the fender is going to be up about here with the springs that it's supposed to have. Which I have an option for rear springs still. Those are out of a Mustang. I was looking, the ones out of an Aerostar van I think would work. They're the same diameter. They'll fit in a spring pocket just the same, but they're about twice as tall. So if anything, I'll make it big boy approved. I can have my friends in there and we won't have it dragging the rear end. So that's about it for this car. Expedition's still doing good. I did a video probably about a year back when I got it. I think I did a 6-month review on it. Haven't had any problems with it. You know, it's been a good truck. Hauled this home, it hauled the red van home. I don't care. It tows good, it drives good. I'm just kind of disappointed I lost my other car because now I got to put miles on it. This coming week I'm going to Tennessee in it, and that's kind of what I bought it for, was highway miles. You know, occasionally, you know, going somewhere nice. I didn't want to keep driving it and tear it up. Which, just in the last month I've been driving it, it has gotten so many dings and scratches, it's driving me nuts. Like, look at this. You can't have anything nice. Big old scratches and dents and dings. I park in the back of the shopping malls to try and stay away from this kind of stuff. And just everywhere. You just can't have nice things. People like see something nice and they're just, ooh, I need to go tear that up. Like I had somebody back into it. It's just like, you just can't have anything nice. Alright, so we're back in here because it started raining on me, so. Been over 20 minutes now, rambling on. Probably about 3 people will watch this all the way to here. But yeah, that's about it. That's the long overdue state of the shack. There's going to be some videos coming up. Changing oil on this. Getting the Can-Am running. Eventually, like probably this winter, I will see about rebuilding at least one of those brute forces. But I am kind of bummed out about that. And of course, as soon as I let the dude know that he basically screwed me over, disappeared off of Facebook, you know, basically blocked me and everything. So, dude's a swindle. I just gotta accept it, you know, sometimes you get the good end, sometimes you get the bad end, and that time I got the bad end of the deal. So many times I've gotten a good end of the deal, so, I mean, like the Can-Am, I got a pretty good end of the deal, even though it needed transmission replaced. It's still not bad. But, yeah, so that's this video. It's starting to rain. Oh, one more thing. Just real quick. I have gotten permission and gotten quotes from 2 different concrete companies on quotes for a slab for the new building, hopefully going up this fall. So hopefully this fall we will have a new steel building with 9-foot ceilings instead of 6-foot, 8-foot ceilings that I hit my head on all the time. And a concrete floor where I'm not falling through all the time, as you can see this one's doing again. Where critters can't die onto the floor and stink the place up. And walls that aren't falling down. So it'll be pretty amazing. So hopefully in the fall, I'll even try and document that as best I can. And yeah, so comment, rate, subscribe. Have an awesome day.